It's Monday, January 2nd. I hope you guys liked our Q&A video. I'm really happy Taylor joined us for that. I figured I'd take you guys along for some of the projects that we're going to be working on today. Yesterday and the day before were both rainy, so I couldn't film, but we got the sawzall and we started working on clearing where our chicken coop is going to go. We cleared probably the bottom 7 feet of one of the trees. I'll try and show you guys a little snippet of that, but like I said, I couldn't film because it was raining, and it was raining yesterday as well. Our house is like towards the front of the property, and about 15 feet behind our house we have a tree line, and then another 15 feet of like lane that used to be, I think, like literal like farm lane. Then it's just forest, so it's kind of like an unnecessary tree line that we have between our house and the woods. So we are actually going to clear that because it makes our house really dark on the inside. That whole side of the house is really dark because the tree line is so close, and it's kind of like dangerously close to the house. So we're going to be clearing that out for the most part, and then since it's a hillside, we do want to keep it as more of like a retaining area instead of just grass. So we are going to be replanting like flowering shrubs and like lilacs and, you know, all that kind of stuff. Smaller stuff that's not going to block our second floor, which is our main floor. That's not going to block the light to our like main floor. We're not going to be planting it again for a while. It's kind of like a stump garden right now. We cut down all the like smaller trees in one section, and we're just like going to make our way through it. My other projects today, I really need to get caught up on laundry because the pipes froze last week, and I've been behind on laundry after we found the mold in the camper. I just like still haven't been able to catch up because of the pipes freezing and having like 20 loads to run. It's just been a lot. Taylor's at the dump right now. We had a full truckload again to take of just random stuff that we've been picking up, but we got that done yesterday. He's taken to the dump now, and then we have a trip to make to the habitat restore. We have our like old peninsula island counter that we've had on Marketplace for like a week. We just want to get rid of it. So it's in good condition. It's like brand new. We just don't like it. It's a raised counter, and we want our island to be counter height. So we're just going to take that to the restore. It's like the only thing in this house that's been salvageable so far. Everything else was just like inundated with mold. Hey, what are you doing? He just reminded me that I need to take him for a walk today. I told him I would. So he's probably going to get all muddy, but he's going to enjoy it, so it's fine. We'll wash his little feet off. I finished, for the most part, painting his music room. All the walls are done, the ceiling is done. We ordered the ceiling light. We are going to do recessed lighting in all the bedrooms too, but we are keeping the ceiling lights too, just as like another option. Okay, honestly, it's kind of hard to see things in here with the lighting, but we are eventually redoing the ceilings in here. We'll be scraping them. Honestly, the drywall in here is really beat up, so we might eventually just change everything out. But for now, it's exactly what he wanted. He wanted to do black ceilings again. We ordered a new like Sputnik style, like mid-century industrial light for in here. There will also be recessed lighting as well. He wanted to do like a seafoam green. He picked 2 like vintage guitar colors for like his accent walls. So this wall over here is like a vintagey seafoam green. And then the closet we haven't painted yet because it requires a lot of patching. But that pink color is what the inside of the closet's gonna be. So that's where he's gonna like have all of his amps, and he'll probably build shelves in there too. So it'll be like the little amp closet. Right now it's our cat litter closet because we're working on setting up their little litter closet in our bathroom. We have a huge linen closet in the bathroom. there's a lot of stuff in here still that needs to get moved out of here. So that's what I'm gonna do. Try and get a lot of it so we can take it to the dump station sometime this week or next weekend, and then winterize it and put it up out of the driveway. I don't even know where to start. Alright, my camera died, but I'm taking the last little load of things out of the camper, and then we're officially moved out. This is just like a huge sigh of relief. There's a huge pile of random stuff in my kitchen now, but man, this is exciting. The house is still a mess. There's stuff everywhere. We don't have most of our stuff. But not being in the camper is so nice. Like, being in the house is just wonderful, and it's only going to get better, I know. So I just felt like I needed to document this because it's a beautiful feeling. I am very, very happy right now. I'm also very warm. It's like 70 degrees today, and it's January 2nd. Not complaining, not one bit, but I'm excited. Do you need Mama's help? You need Mama's help? You need Mama's help? Come here. Just come. Oh, look at that big boy. He got himself stuck. On the ladder. Yeah. Yesterday, we came out here on a walk with Moo, and we hadn't been outside on the property in like a day or two, just like to go past the house, you know, like the actual property. And it had been raining for a couple days straight, like thunderstorms, a lot of rain. We haven't seen the property without it being like absolutely lush and green when it rains. So like right now everything's pretty dead. I mean, the pines and stuff are still alive. Most of the stuff's pretty dead. It's really soggy. And I took a couple videos that I'll pop in here yesterday of the stream that we found that shows up when the multiple streams that show up when it rains here, and the grass isn't like a foot deep or a foot tall. What?
I don't know if you can see it while I was trying to get in those leaves now.
Oh my gosh.
This must stay wet enough. They must live in here.
Yeah, I feel like maybe underground or something. Wow. That's cool. That is not something I ever expected.
There we go. Back into there.
Well, looks like we have a pond for our ducks. It really goes down there. So it looks like the swale system actually works. We'll plant our trees along here. This is the berm. It's hard to tell. Huh. Did not expect that. Runs all the way through down to that pond. So I'm out here this morning. That was last night. We found a crayfish, which is really weird and really cool. I found out that there are terrestrial crayfish. I had not known that before. So I'm gonna be keeping an eye out for their mounds. But we know we had a creek going through the woods, but it only, like, the property feeds it. So when it's dry, there's not really any water in the creek. Sometimes there's like a tiny little bit at the bottom. Most of the time it's just like stagnant. But when it rains, the creek is flowing quite a bit. So yesterday there was like a whole freaking pond at the beginning of the creek, and like lots of little streams leading down into it through the woods. And we realized that the terracing on our property, the berms and swales of the terraces, actually work really well. So we had a lot of like streams throughout our entire property in those swales yesterday, which I've never seen personally, like in action, in person. I've never seen them functioning. I've seen pictures and diagrams of them. I've heard people talk about them. I've never seen them function like that, and it was really cool to see. But we have a really low property. I think our property is probably one of the lowest or the lowest in the area. It leads down to a gorge in like the back of the property through the woods. So I came out here this morning because I wanted to see how well they were draining and see if they were like effectively soaking up the water or moving the water through the stream in the woods. And it looks like that's the case. I just walked around the property and I noticed that one, where there was about 6 inches of standing water in the swales, it was more of like a really slow trickle towards the woods. That is like still mushy, obviously, but like there's not water in it. You can't see the water. It has drained or it has soaked up into the ground. However, where there are low spots that aren't connected to those swales, those are still filled with water and mushy. So I'm thinking that our swale system kind of works. I didn't expect this at all, but it's kind of cool. Now, works to the extent of capturing the water, definitely. I don't know that it's actually soaking up any water or if it's just guiding it through the woods. There are parts of the creek deeper down in the woods that like it looks like the ground is just kind of eroding or like washing away, or like it literally looks like dirt has just like fallen off. And in those spots, it looks like somebody at some point tried to pour concrete. And I don't know if that's just because they were dumping stuff, like they were dumping all their trash down there, because it sure looks like they were just trying to fill the creek up. Like there's trash, there's water heaters, like construction tools, chunks of concrete, but there are some spots that look like they poured concrete. And we don't know if that's because they were trying to like hold the ground in place or what, if they were just dumping it. Both are possibilities, I think. But for the most part, I'm pretty happy that our swales are holding water. I didn't really get any videos or pictures of them like holding water. I think I might have got a couple. I was trying to keep track of Moo. I will show you those, but I'm gonna show you what the swale looks like right now. All right, I have it zoomed out a lot so you can kind of see it better, but it's really hard to tell like the elevation on camera. But basically this right here is the berm. Like I'm standing on the berm and you can see that it goes up and then it slowly starts to taper down over there. So that low spot right here, it looks more wet than everything else. That's where we had about 6 inches of water yesterday standing right here. Like my boots were almost fully underwater yesterday standing right there. So it's gone today. Let me try and show you. Literally, like, it was like this high on my boots yesterday. So they definitely do something. That might just be guiding it into the woods though. Let's go check where the actual stream was yesterday. This was like a rushing creek yesterday. It was a shallow one, but it was like actually flowing, you can tell. And this connects directly to that swale I just showed you. So yeah, it was pouring down here. And honestly, this was probably like as full as it could be with water before it started pouring over. So it's probably a solid foot deep back there. Yeah, this is where we saw the crayfish down there. Crawfish, crayfish, I don't know. I call it a crayfish. So yeah, this was full of water and it was like rushing water down. And there's still water down there. You can see there's still water down there. Yeah, you can see they threw a bunch of stuff in there. They've thrown a bunch of stuff down there. That's all concrete and plastic pots and trash. And down here, this water is now stagnant for the most part, it looks like. I'd assume that's just gonna soak into the ground. Usually it flows down here. Let's see if I can get across. Oh, that's soft. So yeah, usually it flows down here all the way down to this spot, and then there's a bunch of stuff in here. That tree must have just fallen down like in the last couple days. It goes underwater, or it goes underground, and then it starts spilling out down there. It comes out underground, and this is probably a couple feet deep or a foot deep, and it just continues down further and further. But we have berms and swales, and they're doing something. So I just thought you guys might be interested in that. It's a super commonly talked about like permaculture thing, and like I said, I've never personally seen them in action. This is the first time. So I thought maybe somebody else might like to see that. I think it's probably about time to end this video for the week. The last thing I'm gonna do with you is make a sourdough starter. I ended up having to throw mine out because we just didn't have space in the fridge to bring it with us, and I think I had already packed up my dehydrator and it just wasn't gonna work out. So I ended up having to toss it. I had it for almost a year or two before, probably a year and a half before I had to toss it. I have been really wanting to make homemade sourdough pasta and what was the other thing? Bagels. Like some homemade sourdough, like cheddar, the cats are going crazy, cheddar bagels sound amazing to me. So I'm hoping that I can get one whipped up and it will stay at the temperature in here that I need it to for it to actually like function. I'll probably have to pop it into the oven with the light on most of the time. That might not even work, we'll see. Miss Peanut's up on our tree. She's going crazy. I'm gonna say goodbye to you, and I hope you have a great week. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this week's video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and and I will see you next week. See you guys next week. Bye.